It's manifold. Most ceramics are made using heavy methane burners, and therefore you have significant carbon emissions associated with the traditional ceramics industry, which are tiles, pottery and so forth. But also there are challenges to create sustainable materials or materials for sustainable applications, batteries, fuel cells, capacitors for electric vehicles to enhance performance and so forth. So there are challenges there, and they're equally valid, and those materials need to be improved so that we can help make the world more efficient in its use of energy. So you have the major volume production of ceramics. This area of Italy is very famous for the production of ceramics, traditional ceramics. Those factories have been around for sometimes hundreds of years. They've, broadly speaking, used the same manufacturing methods for the last 30 to 40 years, and they burn methane, which is obviously more expensive than it used to be. Technologies are not so clear at the moment. There are two competitive technologies. One would be to retrofit the systems to burn hydrogen or mixtures of hydrogen, but hydrogen technology is in its infancy. And the other is to create electric furnaces, but electric furnaces would be brand new furnaces that would replace the ones you have. So your capital equipment expense is extremely high. And so that has to be factored in to any kind of long-term plan for a company if they wish to go down the path of electrification. There is a lot of waste associated with ceramic production. Ceramics are fragile and mistakes are made in production, defects form, and so it is to reuse the waste that is made, and that's good. And also, in reusing waste or adding things to it, to the process, you have the possibility of decreasing the densification temperature. But that's quite difficult in a traditional process, and you may only achieve a few tens of degrees. That's beneficial, and we sure should do it, but that isn't reducing massively the embodied carbon within the product. It is decreasing it and improving it, but it's not a silver bullet. So the iWaste project's main goals are energy recovery through, I guess, heat pipe exchange systems primarily, and water recovery. So one could imagine that you could recover water from processes and reuse that in a granulation, and reuse that throughout the process of ceramic manufacturing. But I think the key thing is the energy recovery systems that iWaste has developed and previous projects have developed. The heat exchange systems based on heat pipe technology can span a range of temperatures which is unusually large, so it can do low temperature, low grade heat and high grade heat equally well, depending on the way it's medium grade heat is more reasonable. But it can span those things, and it can give you significant energy recovery, and it can put heat back into the processing, the production run, and decrease the energy in total being used by the manufacturing process. You need to look at the resource efficiency, which is to reuse as much waste as possible, and increase that. You need to look at reduced carbon raw materials, the eradication of limestone, for example, from formulations. You need to look at the energy recovery with perhaps heat pipe technology to address things that aren't currently utilised. Redirection of hot air is used routinely, but the heat pipe systems are much more advanced than that. And the other one is, of course, to encourage governments to decarbonise the grid. So there's been an evolution now, I think, in thinking that we want to keep the jobs here, and we want to keep control of the embodied carbon now, rather than just stopping production and allowing high embodied carbon products to be imported from other countries. And I think there's a kind of an emerging thought pattern of sustainability coming out of the companies now. It's in part driven by government initiatives, but in part driven by the fact that they realise there's a market for sustainable products. And, business is business at the end of the day. People want to make money. If you ever look at the three pillars of sustainability, it's economy, society, and environment. So you need to have all those three.